everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thank you as always for tuning back in. If you're new here, welcome. I'm Layla, the Lenormand reader, and I use the amazing Lenormand deck. Welcome to a new monthly forecast. We are doing May today. We're almost half through the year. It's amazing. It went by pretty fast. So let's go ahead and start with you, Aries. We have your 3 cards for May from your astro clock. We've got the ring, the lily, and the dog. These are lovely cards for a sense of stability and continuity and support in a relationship. This could be a long-term friendship, a supportive colleague. It could be a professional connection because of the lily. And it can also be a very committed kind of relationship because the ring and lily are more committed, and the lily especially is more mature. It's more steady. The dog is typically a card of friends, friendship, colleagues, siblings. It could be a family relation, but sometimes with the ring and dog together, there could be a relationship, a love relationship evolving out of a friendship. So that too is possible. But it definitely looks like a steady, supportive relationship. And there's a sense of mutual understanding, maturity, and wisdom between you and this person. So of course, who this person is flexible. We'll see in the 9-card portrait here what else we get about these cards and what other messages we get for your month. So let's go ahead and deal out. Nice. The anchor is nice and steady, just like the lily and ring. No surprises here. So let's go ahead and deal out this portrait and see what is in store for you this month. Okay, Aries, look at these cards. This anchor that popped out of our deck just now, it figures right in the middle. What a coincidence. And it is a card of steadiness and strength. It's very solid. It stands its ground. And it's always a message, almost always a message. Just stick with what you're doing. The stork here at the top usually covers you. It represents you. This is an active card, so it could be suggesting and advising you to make changes or to pick up the pace and take initiative. And with the anchor and star here, there's definitely a very positive conclusion, arriving at a really good space, a really good understanding, and you could also achieve something. So these are great cards to encourage you to move forward, to continue with what you're doing until you reach the goal that you're after, because it's very clear that you will. The fox is often a card of work and employment, and I feel that with the lily here, it could bring out this theme for you. And with the anchor and moon, you could get a really good offer, a work offer. It seems to me that you're going to accept it. I have to wonder in this sense, Aries, if your astro clock cards are telling you about a job opportunity, a project opportunity, or some kind of collaboration in your life, in whatever activity you're after, because it sounds like there's a good offer here. Now, sometimes, well, actually often, the fox advises against people who are a bit tricky, a bit deceptive, people who are not totally transparent. I do think, though, that with the anchor and moon, especially with the lovely key and star that follow the fox here in the bottom row, this is a very positive message as opposed to the more challenging cards, the more challenging meaning of the fox. The stork with the coffin and moon, this is a very clear message of a completion. So just like we sensed from the anchor and star, it sounds like you're arriving at a positive conclusion. The coffin is a card of endings, and with the moon, it seems to be the end of a phase altogether. And so with the stork here as your cover card, it seems to me, Aries, that it's a good idea to do what you need to do to bring something to a close. So move forward and complete things. And with the scythe and anchor and fish, this is an interesting triplet. The scythe is often a cutting off card, a releasing card, and the anchor is actually the opposite. But when I get these two together, I often feel that you're releasing yourself from the shackles. It can also mean a breakthrough opportunity with the fish. And again, I felt that the lily here could suggest something professional. It could suggest maybe a colleague or a collaboration of sorts. The fish here supports this. The fox also does. And because the anchor is so strong and solid, it seems to me that this is probably a very good opportunity for you. The fox with the key and star, This is a very lovely message because we have both the key and star together, and each of these cards are bright and positive. The key is really good at finding solutions, and with the fox, it's often a combination for being smart and being strategic and having a really good plan. It's also clear that there's an opportunity that unlocks. It's pretty clear to me that this person is very supportive in this sense, and the star delivers on your goals and your wishes. So really nice cards for any context, I would say, including work, money, collaborations, whether it's related to work or not, depending on how you operate. The stork with the scythe and fox, this is clearly a release. And in this case, I would say a release from a more difficult situation. We have the scythe and fox figuring together, and this can mean that you release yourself either from a job or from some other involvement, and possibly also you're removing something that doesn't fit too well with you. So the stork and scythe are really good at releasing you from this. And there's also a sense of swiftness, which is a little bit in contrast with the slower, more steady cards of the ring, lily, coffin, and anchor. And I think this change happens so that you land in this space of stability. Now, the coffin with the anchor, anchor key, these are great cards, again, for highlighting this ending that we saw a few times already, bringing something to a close, completing a project, completing a goal, completing something, or even a milestone in your life, Aries. And with the key, it's very clear that you're going to do this very well, and it can mean a successful achievement and a successful completion of a project. And this last column on the right, this is a very lovely line with the moon, fish, and star. These are great for money, for abundance, a sense of empowerment even. The moon can be that offer element, and with the fish and star, it could be either a job opportunity, a business enterprise, or some kind of collaboration, whatever that looks like for you specifically. And it seems to really align with your goals and even your bigger ambitions. They're also great cards for a sense of abundance, a sense of well-being, and being in a space of appreciation where you're feeling abundant and you've got a lot of things going for you. So I have to say, Aries, these are really nice cards across the board. I know when we first look at the portrait, we see the fox, scythe, and coffin, and we're like, wow, what's going on? But actually, when you weave these lines together, this Lenormand magic happens, and we've got a breakthrough and a release, and being able to remove yourself from anything that's holding you back, and a successful achievement and completion. And certainly people in your life or your colleagues or your support are really coming through here with that sense of steadiness and strength for you. So I would say, Aries, commit to your job, commit to your task, whatever it is you're after, commit to it, because you are at the finish line and you can achieve it and achieve it successfully. And you could also get a new offer or an opportunity, maybe as a result of this or in parallel. But it certainly looks great for your success, work-wise, success in your sense of finances and abundance, and also success in your relationships. So lovely cards, Aries. I certainly hope you resonate with them in this way. I look forward to your thoughts and your feedback about them. Let me know how it played out for you. As always, I care for your feedback. Best of luck with the month. Thank you as always for tuning in. And until next time, take very good care of yourself. Hello, Taurus. Welcome to May. Here we are with your May cards from your Astro Clock. And these are very beautiful cards with the clover and flowers being two of the brightest cards of the deck. We've got them with the ring, and the ring is a card of relationships. It can also point to commitments or involvements. And clearly with the clover and flowers, there are some beautiful connections here, a feeling of fulfillment in your routine or the things that you're invested in. And it's definitely a good sign that you're on the right track and what you're doing and your relationships are paying off very beautifully. The flowers is also a card of fun, so you might enjoy some good times with your closer circle of people, or maybe you're involved in some creative venture. It has that sense of expression and that sense of openness and happiness that really opens you up to the world and to the things that you do. So really nice cards right from the get-go. Let's see if the portrait cards mirror this, or what else they have to say about them, and what other messages we get for your month. Okay, Taurus, here is your portrait, and we're seeing both the ring and flowers in here, just like we have them in the Astro Clock cards. And so it really brightens up the spread. The portrait overall is more on the neutral side, but it sounds like there are some exciting events happening, and the flowers really shines this light and brings this beautiful energy of happiness. We have the bear in the center. The bear is a power card. It's a card of strength and influence. And we have the mountain as your cover card, which can mean a couple of things. It can either mean that you had been feeling distant, or maybe you're away, and it is sometimes a card of obstacles. So certainly if you've been feeling stuck, Taurus, this is definitely a month where you can loosen up and things can work out pretty well. So with the mountain and bear, I have to say this is often a combination that suggests someone who is based abroad. So it could be this relationship or this person that we see with the dog and the ring. It can also mean that you had been abroad, but the flowers is a card of return and reunion and coming back together. Because of its association with spring, it suggests this idea of, these flowers coming back after winter. So there can be a really happy reunion here after a time apart or a time abroad. But also, these are great cards for expressing creativity and success on maybe a bigger scale because of the bear, and certainly creativity as well. So these are some pretty exciting cards, and they really invite you to step up and to, I would say, Taurus, really embrace yourself, your creativity. The dog with the bear and tower, these can actually refer to someone like a manager, someone who has influence or authority, because the tower is often a card of official things, and it represents the upper levels, if you like. It's also associated with things like government and big buildings and, that sense of prestige in corporations. And the bear really adds to this. So when I see these two cards together, the bear and tower often represent someone like manager, superior, and it could be, people who are up there. The dog, in contrast, is a junior card. So we've got the bear as a senior and the dog as a junior. And there seems to be a supportive relationship here with your superiors, your parents, or that person of influence. And I think this is what could come through very nicely, is that you tap into this relationship, you get their support, and it sounds like you get what you want and you're able to enjoy this. It's also possible, Taurus, that you're after something like a promotion or an improvement, something like a step up in whatever context of your life. And in this case, it sounds like if you go through the proper route, the proper process, you could get what you want. So these are really nice cards, and they encourage you to tap into people whom you can trust and people who can support you. The mountain with the book and tower, here's another interesting triplet. The book and tower can often mean education, often higher level education, and the mountain can feel like it's a bit of an uphill struggle. I feel that you could be after more knowledge, more expertise, some kind of improvement and refinement in your life, Taurus, where you are up for a deeper understanding, getting into the more specialized kind of areas. In another sense, the mountain and book can represent a place probably away from where you are or even abroad that you do not know yet. And the tower can sometimes bring up the past. So maybe there's a chapter from the past or a situation from the past that you need to have unraveled. And that could be part of what you're digging into. And perhaps this relationship helps you with shining a light on it. But more generally, and I think in better alignment with the cards so far, Taurus, I think this is more about your sense of deepening understanding, pursuing deeper skills, better skills, and so on. Now, the fox, bear, and ring are great cards for work and jobs because the fox is often a card of work. And the bear, like we said, can represent that superior or the manager. And I also think it could represent you and the idea that you're going for more responsibilities, a bigger job, and more important, if you're important, involvements. The fox can sometimes be a card of deception. It tends to be deceptive on a lighter side. The snake is more toxic, but it always pays to be careful and calculated with the fox, just so that you're aware of the folks around you. And if this isn't about jobs for you, these are still really good cards for someone supportive who could help you with certain tasks or maybe even a favor. And I think it pays to be kind and to sort of charm them to get them to support you. So I think you can rely on this person. The bear is a card of power and strength. And also, you've got what it takes to pursue these projects. The dog with the moon and flowers are very beautiful. The flowers is a very bright card. The moon is also lovely. And there is that softness that comes with these cards, and also a sense of creativity, because the moon is also a bit like the flowers. And the dog suggests this very kind person, this supportive person, very much like what we saw in the Astro Clock cards. So instead of the ring, we have the dog. Instead of the clover, we have the moon, and we have the flowers in both. So these are lovely cards for having a good relationship, and also for enjoying some good times with people, whoever these people are, or whoever this person is. So it could be friends, family, colleagues, other people in your life. You know, there's a sense of enjoyment here. The mountain with the fox and dog, this can be a bit of a struggle because we have the mountain and fox together with this person. It could be the same person as the bottom row or even in the other lines, but it doesn't have to be. The thing about the fox is that it encourages you, Taurus, to maintain your calm and maintain your peace. And I think this makes sense because if there had been any struggles or issues or doubts, it's clear that they're going to be resolved. Not only because of these cards here, but definitely because of the powerful triplet that we have for you in your Astro Clock cards. So be patient, allow things to unfold. And also, if there was a sense of distance or coldness, I think this is going to be thawed out. And certainly the flowers delivers this very warm energy. The book with the bear and moon is great for having knowledge and also being more specialized. It can also mean that you meet someone who is supportive. But in all cases, I think, Taurus, that you were really stepping up this month. You could acquire knowledge. You could become more skilled, more experienced. You could get a promotion. You could go for improvements or whatever it is that looks like an elevation and an improvement for you. I think you can get it. And also, this is a great combination for an offer, probably an important offer, probably work-related or in relation to your day-to-day projects. It could also be proposals in other areas of your life. The tower with the ring and flowers are lovely for a long-term relationship and also a long-term commitment. And with the flowers being this creative, bubbly, happy card, I think you're very excited about these prospects, Taurus. It's also a suggestion for you to stick with things over the long term. We see this through the tower, the ring again, and also the bear, you know, which brings that sense of power. It has staying power as well. The mountain is very unmoving. It's a pretty rigid card. So I think you're on the right track, Taurus. And when you stick with it, you're going to see the results pay off. And also, I think that you might not see it immediately, but you want to have that long-term vision as well. So being patient and trusting the process, and you will soon see the results. This goes for your work, your involvements, what you're invested in, your routine, and also relationships. So these are really nice cards, Taurus. They support you in many different areas of life. They're great for people. They're great for creativity, for improvements, for overcoming challenges with others, and also for putting yourself on a path of success. Tap into these people, tap into your support, and I think when you give and take, you will see that there's this very positive energy. Let me know how this plays out for you, Taurus. As always, I look forward to your thoughts and feedback. Very best of luck with the month. Thank you for tuning in. And until next time, take very good care of yourself. Hello, Gemini. Welcome to your May forecast. Here we are in May with your May cards from your Astro Clock, and these are pretty lovely. We have the heart, the road, and the anchor. The road and anchor are a clear combination for arriving at a destination, and the heart says that you had been pursuing this with happiness, and it also makes you happy to arrive at this destination. It's also possible that the heart represents feelings and therefore love. It's not really the card of relationship, but it's usually associated with love and these happy feelings. So this could be a successful arrival and one that is very fulfilling to you. And in terms of relationships, it can mean that you you and this person find each other and you're on the same page. So it's a lovely triplet that suggests arriving at your destination or arriving at a conclusion or being together and, landing in this space of strength that is represented by the anchor, and it's all very fulfilling. So really nice cards in here. Let's put these cards aside and let's draw your portrait cards to see what else we get about them and what other messages we get for your month. Okay, Gemini, here is your portrait, and we have a couple of really bright cards, the clover and the flowers. So these are bubbly, happy cards, and they certainly bring a sense of luck and good fortune. We have the scythe as your cover card, which is great for a sense of liberation, and it can also point to a breakthrough. And it seems to me that you're going to be able to remove yourself from anything that had been holding you back. And I feel with the road and the cards, there's this strong alignment here for you to be able to pursue the things that you want to pursue. Now, the rest of the cards here, they bring up some interesting possibilities. So we'll get into them more deeply when we get there. One more thing, though, before we get into the lines, is the cross in the center. The cross is often seen as a challenging card by many people. I don't see it this way. I think it can be challenging, but it's not always challenging. The cross is a spiritual card, and it brings a sense of destiny, a sense of signs and guidance, that is going on for you. So this could be great for being in touch with your deeper intuition, with the sense of inner guidance and higher guidance in your life, and also pursuing the path that is meant for you. Now, when we have the cross and book, this is often a combination for religiosity or spirituality, or it can point to some important information that you need to dig into. And with the scythe, I think it really points to that sense of initiative and strength that comes with you really getting into this knowledge. The road with the cross and flowers can mean a choice that you make, because the road and cross are quite literally the crossroads. And then we have this beautiful flowers here, which tells us that you're going to make the right choice and you're on the right track. So again, these cards are really supporting your path so that you put yourself on the right path and you are directed to the right goals and objectives. So you could be doing some research, getting into the details, looking up information, and also tuning into yourself more deeply in order to make the choices that are right for you so that you are on the right track. And the scythe and rider and flowers, this is quite a powerful moment. There's a lot of momentum here. The scythe and rider can often mean a change of direction, and it can also point to things like canceling or cancellations. The thing about the scythe and rider with the flowers is that I think you're going to more quickly, more suddenly, and with more energetically engage with your goals and objective. And it's the sense of rider and flowers here. There's a lot of enthusiasm. And so I think you're really excited about the prospects here. So I would say get going, move forward. You are definitely on the right track. The clover with the cross and fox, this could be a little bit tricky because of the fox. The fox is a more quiet card, and it can be a card of deception, or people who are not really transparent, but it's also a card of jobs, and it's also a very clever card. So with the clover, which is a very bright card, and the cross and fox, it points to making the right decision and also being calculated about this. One more thing about the fox, Gemini, is that it puts you first. So the fox is a little bit selfish, but on the brighter side, that means putting yourself first in a smart way. So prioritize yourself, prioritize your goals and objectives, and also don't hesitate to do this. So I feel that maybe you had been holding back a little bit, but with the scythe now, you have a sense of momentum to go ahead and move forward with the things that matter to you and that you feel are aligned with your goals. And the road with the moon and book, this is often an offer or a chapter that is opening up. You're clearly on a path here that could prove really fulfilling. And I think you're discovering things as you go. And, there's a few things that you need to learn about this, but it's totally fine. And I think it's aligned with your path anyway. And as an offer, this could be great for a job offer, a business offer, other kinds of offers from friends, and so on. So these are lovely cards. The scythe with the clover is often a lucky break, and then we see the road, which points to this path that is opening up that we see a few times in different combinations, also with the rider. So you are going to get an opportunity, or there's a breakthrough of sorts, Gemini, that opens up this path for you. So again, very exciting. The rider with the cross and moon, this is an offer that is very important. And of course, you need to assess it. You need to do your due diligence at all times, Gemini, especially since we have the fox and the book. But the moon is a soft card. So even if the cross is a bit heavy in its own nature, the moon opens up opportunities, and the rider is a really active card. So you could be in for important decisions this month. The flowers with the fox and book is also positive, but sometimes the fox can bring up people with the flowers. I mean, the fox can bring up people who are more of the flattering kind and not really the genuine kind. I'm not seeing, this malicious kind of energy here at all. And I'm not so sure this is what's coming up here. Instead, what I think is coming through with the flowers, fox, and book is your knowledge, your education, and also digging into the details and doing your research quietly, keeping things to yourself, and creating a plan. So these are great cards for finding a plan for your creativity, for your expression, and anything that is unknown or you're not sure of, you have to do your due diligence, Gemini. And that could be what there is to it, and that's all. So overall, these are really bright cards. You have choices and decisions to make. You have research and due diligence to do. But you also have a lot of opportunity, and you are in a position to engage with a lot of momentum and enthusiasm to pursue your goals and make the right choices that will align with your goals. So it could feel like a lot, but these are, some months are like that. We have to come to terms with things. We have to make decisions. We have to come to certain conclusions in order to build on them. So let me know what you make of this, Gemini. As always, I look forward to your thoughts and feedback. Very best of luck with the month. Thank you for tuning in. And until next time, take very good care of yourself. Hello, Cancer. Welcome to your monthly forecast. Here we are in May, and I have your May cards from your Astro Clock. These are lovely. We've got the Road, Moon, and Fish. They're great financially. They're great for a financial offer or a work offer or business offer of sorts. And they're also great for improvements in your sense of abundance with your money and other areas in your life. They're also great cards for a sense of unfolding and also being connected with yourself. I think there's a nice sense of openness here. So it's a great time for gratitude and openness and pursuing things in a more or less easy way. There is really a sense of being open to receive with these cards. And if it's an invitation, it sounds like a good one. Maybe you need to spend on it a little bit. It depends on your specific situation. But really nice, easygoing cards that bring abundance and a sense of well-being. So let's put them aside and let's draw your Astro Clock cards, the portrait cards, to add to these three. See what else we get about them and what other messages we get for your month. Okay, Cancer, look at these lovely cards. Yes, we have the Whip in here, which is normally challenging, but we have all three cards from your Astro Clock cards. We have the Fish, the Moon, and the Road. And not only that, but the Fish is right in the center. On top of this alignment, we have three very beautiful cards: the Clover, the Flowers, and the Star. And the Star is especially powerful. It's one of the brightest cards of the deck. The Moon is your cover card. It is a card of openness, and it can represent invitations, but as your first card, it's a really nice card for being open and being easy, and it's very good at attracting. So it's very clear to me that you are attracting a lot of good. With the Fish and Flowers, these are great cards for abundance across the board. It's great for feeling wealthier, feeling more abundant. It's great for a source of income, and it's great for being productive. It can be work-related or business-related, but not necessarily. It just depends on your situation. Cancer, how how money comes through in your life. And certainly, there's a lot of positive attraction toward money and some very positive outcomes. Now, the Ring with the Fish and Whip whip is often a challenging combination, suggesting expenses or financial difficulties. But we have the ring earlier, so I have to wonder if maybe you were caught in a cycle in when it comes to your money and finances. It could be debt, for example, or it could be recurring expenses and things like that. And I think at this stage, a good solution is to remove them. So the whip, yes, is challenging, but it could also be a message of, cracking the whip at something. And if you have these recurring expenses or these responsibilities that are burdening you and you don't need them, then kick them out, kick them off, get them off your back and remove them off your plate. And if you do this, it could be also part of what brings a lot of abundance and a sense of, feeling abundant in your life. So I think you could be dealing with some expenses here and there, or maybe debt or something that's recurring and that's burdening you. And if you remove it, kick it off, I think it could create a sense of space and more peacefulness in your life. If it's about other financial challenges, it's very clear from the rest of the cards, Cancer, that solutions and resolutions are very much within reach. The moon with the road and whip clearly shows that it's been a bumpy path, or perhaps there are a few bumps ahead of you. I also think that you need to be a bit more aggressive with certain things, Cancer. So you need to focus on your path. You need to prioritize your well-being and your abundance. And if things are going in a direction that are distracting you from that, then you have to say no. If there are offers that distract you, if there are things that are not aligned or, that could waste your resources or maybe affect you in a negative way, don't focus on this, at least not this month. So give yourself room and space to feel abundant and to feel peaceful in your life, in your situation. The book with the fish and star is lovely for money across the board. It could be great for offers. It could be great for planning and budgeting. It could be maybe you make a source of income from creativity, writing, reading, teaching, anything that's related to a book, and by extension to that sense of creativity. And the star being one of the brightest cards of the deck, there is definitely a sense of wish fulfillment. So these are really great cards. It's also possible that because the book is a card of the unknown, at this point, there could be some sense of enlightenment or a discovery that really enhances your situation. And so that too is part of your fulfillment. The ring with the clover and flowers are great for a relationship. And the ring is typically closer relationships. So with the clover and flowers, there's a lot of positive vibes. This could be the case, but I feel in keeping with the broader theme here, the ring can represent these recurring investments that you have or your commitments to certain things. And you're definitely in your zone, doing the things that you want to do. The ring is also a suggestion for keep sticking with it, with that circular element. Keep at it and keep maintaining your disciplines, and you'll see that they deliver a lot of success. Also great cards for creativity and really investing yourself in that. The moon and book is often a combination of an offer, and the book and ring is often a proposal. Often things like marriage and engagements and, like deeper things are possible here. And notice that a T crosses the middle line where we have the fish and star. So it's very clear that this is about an offer, and you could actually take it up and it could prove to be really beneficial for you. It sounds really good financially anyway. The road with the fish and clover, again, another beautiful message for finances, just like we saw with the flowers and fish and the star and fish, and we've got here the clover. Very good for money, very good for abundance, and also it's great for your bigger ambitions. So I think it's definitely a time for you, Cancer, to really immerse yourself and connect yourself with your bigger goals, your bigger ambitions, and it's fine to dream big. The whip with the star and flowers is another very beautiful message, especially that we have the whip earlier. So the whip is often a card of challenges, and like we said, it could be this bumpy road or these financial issues that you might have been dealing with. And with the star and flowers, it's very clear that you overcome them. The star is powerful. The flowers is another bright card. So maintain your sense of commitment to this. Maintain to getting on the other side of whatever challenges you're having here, Cancer, and you'll definitely be in that space of well-being and fulfillment. And again, we suggested also that the whip could be this card that encourages you to be a bit more aggressive, to tackle the issues with your money or other related issues and just deal with them and being, a bit sharper with them, a bit more confrontational with them. And if you do that, you could find yourself in that space of openness, a really nice space of abundance and feeling bigger and more like you feel like you can take up more room. So these are lovely cards, Cancer. There's a clear focus on money and finances, whether it's because you work or you're in business for yourself or any other activities, or maybe just your nest egg and other ways money figures in your life. These are great cards. Take control, do what you need to do to remove distractions, waste, and to rectify whatever is off, and you'll find yourself in a really nice space. You could also get some really good offers here, and it seems to me that you'll take them up and really enjoy what's to come. So very best of luck with this, Cancer. I certainly hope you resonate with these cards brightly. I certainly hope it materializes for you. Let me know in the comments. Thank you for tuning in, and until next time, take very good care of yourself. Hello, Leo. Welcome to your monthly forecast. Here we are in May, and I have your beautiful May cards for the May month from your astro clock. This is the Star, the Sun, and the Key, and these are three of the brightest cards of the deck. The Star and Sun are very broadly positive, so they can affect just about anything in your life, and they're also big and broad and a little bit overarching, so it can be really across your life as a whole. They're great for healing, they're great for wish fulfillment, a sense of abundance. Everything good really materializes with the Star and Sun. The Key is also very positive, but it's a bit more specific in the sense that it unlocks doors, it resolves any problems, it has solutions. It is a card of intelligence, and so it brings an element of resourcefulness and intelligence and insight, and enables you to unlock doors and open up to opportunities. So it's very clear that something wonderful should be happening this month, and hopefully the portrait cards are going to align with this, and you're in for opportunities, healing, success, and clearly something opens up for you. So we're going to put these cards aside, and we're going to draw your portrait and see what else we get about these three and what other messages we get for your month. So let's go ahead and deal out your portrait. Okay, Leo, here is your portrait, and it's looking equally bright as your astro clock cards. This is lovely. We have the Star, and we have the beautiful Moon and Clover, and also the Key. So we have both the Star and Key in here, and we have them in here as well. And in addition to these, we also have these lovely cards here. So again, I feel that it's a broadly positive, happy month. We have the Ship and Garden that point to something a bit more specific, like travel, going places, and ventures. But I have to say that the rest of the cards are kind of broadly positive. The Heart in the middle is a card of feelings. It doesn't have to be about relationships, but it is more about feelings. And in the center, especially with all of these positive cards around it, it points to a sense of happiness and fulfillment. And the Moon is your cover card. And the Moon is a card of attraction. It's also a card of creativity. There is a softness that's associated with the Moon that is lovely. And the Tree is the other card in the portrait that supports this element of relaxation and ease and smooth things happening. So really nice cards across the board. So the Moon, Heart, and Key is very much about unlocking your heart, opening up to feelings, and also being open to receive. These are lovely cards for general sense of well-being. But also the Moon and Key can suggest an opportunity, like an offer or unlocking a door and things like that, because the Moon is sometimes an offer, and it's also about appreciation and being recognized. So you could get some really positive feedback. You could get an opportunity based on that. And there's just a general sense of happiness and feeling good about yourself and your situation. The Star with the Heart and Clover, another very broadly positive line. We have both of the Star and Clover, very happy cards. The Clover is kind of lucky, and the Heart is about these positive feelings. So clearly this is about wish fulfillment, well-being across the board. I want to always make a note about the Clover is that even though it's a very bright and lucky card, it is a card of chance. So sometimes the way things materialize with the Clover might not be as we expect. So it's good to keep an open mind to realize that things might not materialize in the way that you expect them to. The Moon with the Lily and Clover, another very beautiful line. The lily is often a card of your life path in general. It can also reflect your career or your health, and also it's good with a sense of maturity and wisdom. So in terms of your work, your career, and your well-being, it's clearly a very positive message. And also it sounds like you're in a happy space in general. And like I felt with the Astro Clock cards, I feel that this very positive energy, it affects your life as a whole and not so much just a specific area. So some really positive things happening here. Now, in alignment with this potential of an opportunity or unlocking doors, with the lily, you could get a work offer, you could get a job offer, or you could get some kind of appreciation. I also feel you could be maturing professionally and in your life in general. So really good times. The Garden with the Heart and Ship, these are lovely cards for going out, being with people, and also exploring options. Going beyond your current circle is lovely with this combination. You could also be traveling. Again, there's this idea of being active and going places. So I would say enjoy some good times, go out, be with people, explore, travel if you can, and do some nice things. In terms of your job, your projects, the things that you're active with, the ship is great for projects and going after your goals. So it's a good time to be active, and I think you have a lot of positive energy. So, you know, when you have this sense of enthusiasm, it's always a good idea to pursue your goals because you have that momentum behind you. The star with the key, the tree and key, this is clearly wish fulfillment and achieving a goal. The tree and key can mean a very important goal, and the star really adds to that because the star, like the sun, it's kind of a bigger card. It has to do with your bigger goals, your bigger ambitions, and you know these sort of higher inspiration kind of things. So with the tree and key, it's definitely an affirmation that you are about to achieve a very important goal. The moon with the garden and star, this is lovely for invitations and for going out and being with people. The star and garden can also mean being popular, and I felt that with the moon and key, especially in the bigger context of the two sets of cards, you could receive appreciation, honors, maybe you're recognized, you know, for your level or what you've achieved. And so the garden and star can mean appreciation and popularity. So very exciting. Otherwise, again, great cards for going out, being with people, getting involved, just like we saw in the middle row. And the lily with the heart and tree, another very beautiful line that is very focused on a sense of peace, and the heart being a card of feelings. I really think, Leo, that you are in a space of ease, and you have a lot of a sense of fulfillment inside of you, you know, so you feel really good about yourself. The whole space feels really good this month. Hopefully this will materialize for you. And finally, the clover with the ship and key, great cards for going after goals, achieving them, being on the right track. You could also get an opportunity. The clover, again, is a card of chance. And with the ship and key, you could be pursuing some important goals. And also, it's clear from the cards that you are encouraged to. So it seems to me, Leo, that the opportunities, the offers, the invitations, the doors that open this month are good doors, are good opportunities. So in all probability, you will take them up and move forward. So really beautiful cards, Leo, across the board. I certainly hope it resonates with you. Let me know how they materialized for you. As always, I look forward to your thoughts and feedback. Very best of luck with the month. Thank you for tuning in. And until next time, take very good care of yourself. Hello Virgo, welcome to your monthly forecast. Here we are in May, and I've got your May cards from your Astro Clock. We've got the Rider, Clouds, and Bird, and the Clouds is a little bit challenging. It brings up complications and confusion, and both the Rider and Bird are typically news cards, and the Rider can be a movement card. It can point to going places, it can point to visitors. It's generally a messenger. So when we see it with the Clouds and Bird, it means that there could be a new piece of news or a message that causes you to be maybe upset, maybe confused. It brings up a little bit of issues here. And the Bird being a vocal card is typically the card of conversations, not only news. There can be perhaps a difficult conversation that you have with someone or that perhaps you need to have with someone. The Rider is often a card of initiative, so I feel that you could be in a position to bring up something that you had been wanting to talk about, Virgo, and maybe it's time. Maybe it's a little bit difficult to talk about, but it's probably time to do this. So we're going to put these cards aside, and we're going to draw your portrait cards, see what else we get about these three and what other messages we get for your month. Okay, Virgo, here is your portrait. It's a little bit challenging. There's quite a lot of mirroring between your astro cards and the cards in the portrait. There are some challenges here. We have the Rider as your cover card, which confirms very much this idea of taking initiative to bring things up. We have the Fox in the middle, and we also have the Mouse and Whip, which are challenging cards. So the Fox is a card of deception, typically. It's not as toxic as, say, the Snake, but it definitely calls for caution. And the bear here in this first diagonal can represent someone superior, like a senior or a manager or a parent and people like that. And there could be a bit of a sensitive situation that you are going through with this person. The fox and bear combination can also reflect the contrast between a junior and a senior. So if you're, say, you're after a promotion or you're dealing with someone superior like that, there is, again, this sensitive situation that you're dealing with. In general, though, the fox being in the center can endow you with a lot of cleverness, Virgo, and a sense of strategy. It definitely calls on being cautious and careful, and I would avoid being reactive in any way, and definitely keep things under your hat and keep calm, even though there's a bit of a turbulence around you. Now, in the second diagonal, we have a strong message for sticking with things, for staying put. We have both the Anchor and Ring, which are very much about commitment, and the Fox in the middle can point to your job, your routine, your disciplines, and also that sense of being smart and clever and being calculated. So this second diagonal asks you to stay with what you're doing, stay with this relationship or this commitment that you're in, and manage it carefully. So even though there are challenges around you, we're not seeing that this leads to a parting or a separation, and we're definitely seeing that you should not react in kind. The Rider with the Book and Ring, though, is typically positive, especially in the context of wanting to land an agreement, get a job, land a deal, because the Book and Ring are often a combination for a contract or a proposal. And with the Rider here, you might be the one who does this, but you could also get the invitation or the message to get involved in a deal. Now, I'm wanting to look at this middle column because they T-cross at the book. We have the Fox and Mouse together, and these are challenging cards in the sense that they shed doubt on this offer. Virgo, I'm not so sure this is a good one. And this works really well with the ideas of the Astro Clock cards because you get this news, this message through this messenger, and we see the proposal here, and it ties into some challenging cards. So I would deal with this a bit more carefully. I wouldn't answer right away, like a yes or a no or things like that. I would just take it in, but also it's very important to read the fine print. I think you'll find that there could be some hidden elements and things like that. So take the time to review all of this. The Whip with the Fox and Cross, this too is a challenging line. The Cross is often challenging, especially when it comes with other cards that are on the negative side. The Whip is quite challenging, and with the Fox and Cross, you might need to make some important decision. You could also be in a disagreement with someone, which again mirrors the combination here with the Clouds and Bird, where I suggested there could be a difficult conversation. So it's important to bring things up and to deal with them, but at the same time, you want to be calm throughout this process. The Cross can also be a card of decisions, and maybe you need to sacrifice things or you need to weigh things out to see what you end up doing, how you deal with this offer, this person, and the situation. The Anchor with the Mouse and Bear, this is another combination that points to sticking with things. Yes, we have the Anchor like we saw in the first diagonal, but also the Bear is quite strong and it stands its ground and it's quite tough. And these cards are going to easily overcome the challenges because they have that, they stand in your face, they have that blockage kind of energy, and they're not to be messed with, honestly. So with the Mouse, there are challenges, but you could definitely rein them in and you could size them down and deal with it. So this Bear, it has that power and that element of dominance. Same deal here. We have the Rider with the Whip, which is a challenge, and it can also point to a sense of speed. But I think in the greater context here. It's more about the challenges that come up. And we have the anchor. So the anchor is really good at securing and protection. And so it creates a healthy boundary around these issues. And again, I think your fox here in the middle really comes to your advantage because it helps you manage things calmly and carefully, even diplomatically, and you're able to handle these challenges. And the ring with the cross and bear can actually be a supportive relationship or an important relationship with someone who's quite dominant. And I think it could be this person you're having trouble with. So maybe there's someone who have influence over you, a boss, a manager, a parent, a superior somewhere, or someone who's a bit more dominant. And I think with the ring and cross, you have to bear with them, quite literally, and you have to deal with this relationship a little bit. That's why your fox comes in really handy to give you that sense of cleverness and that calculated, cool mind. So you have to stick with this relationship, stick with this situation, Virgo, despite the challenges. Yes, it's good to bring up some things, but also when you manage them calmly. Don't respond with a sense of aggression or a confrontational approach. The fox is calm and diplomatic, and it's very strategic. So there are issues to be dealt with. Maybe this person is not the easiest of people to deal with, but you could make progress, handle it carefully, and move forward. Now, in terms of context, the cards are flexible. The fox is often about the job, but maybe you don't have a job or you don't work. It's not your thing. So it can apply in different contexts. In personal relationships, where obviously there's an issue that comes up. At work, where again, there are problems that need to be dealt with. Maybe with home, family, your parents, others. Same idea. We have relationships in every area of life. So these same issues and the way you need to handle them can come up in just about any context. So you let me know, Virgo, in what context is figured for you. I certainly hope you're able to maintain your cool and deal with this properly so that you can maintain everything, make some key decisions, and manage the trickiness of this conversation or the issues. As always, I look forward to your feedback. Very best of luck with the month. Thank you for tuning in. And until next time, take very good care of yourself. Hello, Libra. Welcome to your monthly forecast. Here we are in May, and I have your May cards from your astro clock. These are the Lily, the Mouse, and the Man. So these are a little bit challenging because of the mouse. It's a little bit negative. It's not dramatic, but it does point to little issues. Usually when it comes to people, like with the man, it points to issues of trust or some misunderstanding, and there can be some struggles here. The Lily is a broader card. It can represent your life as a whole or your life path, and it can also point to your career. It is also potentially a card of health. So there could be a few different possibilities with these three cards, Libra. For one, maybe there are some issues with this person that you're having personally with them. It's probably someone you've known for a while. It's also possible that this person has their own struggles, and I'm thinking possibly in terms of health because of the Lily. So maybe this is someone you have to attend to this month or maybe help out, or it's a relationship that you have to work through because of some issues that pop up. So we're going to set these cards aside and we're going to draw your 9 cards on top of these 3. We'll see what else we get about them and what other messages we get for your month. Okay, Libra, here is your portrait. There is some parallel between the two. We have the Lily in both cards, and we have a relationship aspect with the ring. We do have in the center the Moon, which is a gentle card, and the Key is a lovely card as your cover because it points to success and resolutions. We also have the Snake, which I feel aligns with the Mouse, although the Snake is a little bit more challenging, is a bit sharper and more toxic. But there is a general feel that is in parallel between the two, and there is like a quieter feel, and it's clear that there is a change ahead. The Scythe is a bit more aggressive, but the rest of the cards are easy in the sense that they're calm, and there's like a transition that seems to be natural. So with the first line, we have a very positive message. We have the Key, Moon, and Lily. And this is a lovely message, Libra, for an offer, an invitation, and there is clearly an opportunity. You could also get some really positive feedback. You could be appreciated in different areas of your life. In terms of health, because of the Lily, like we saw initially, you could be doing well, you could be feeling good, and there is a general sense of engagement that you have for yourself, I think, with your goals and what you're pursuing. Now, the scythe with the moon and ship clearly points to a change, and we're going to see this in different lines as well. You could get either a sudden opportunity and you could break through and move into this opportunity, or you could actually turn it down and go in a separate direction. And I think these work out well with the mouse here, because it sounds like this is someone you're going to move away from, you're going to turn down, or you're not going to align with. And in terms of context, Libra, this is flexible. It could be work-related or something personal or in another area of your life. So there's an opportunity, and clearly you're in a position of making a choice and making a change. The key with the cross and ship is lovely. This points to an important trip, an important project, or some important goals that you're going after. And you could be making some choices as well because of the cross. And I have to say, this is not the easiest of choices potentially, but it's quite significant. I also want to add, Libra, that the key and cross are very powerful in terms of signs and inner guidance and a sense of knowing. And I think it's going to be really important for you to tune into your intuition, to really align with what you know you want and what you know is right for you. And we see this materializing with the lovely ship here on the other side. Now, the road with the moon and snake, this is clearly about a change. And my feeling, Libra, is that there could be a deeper change. This could be a transformation. You could be shedding skin, if you like, with the snake. You could be transitioning into something different. And it also aligns with the idea of moving away from someone or something, turning in a different direction, letting go of this person, and like doing your own thing. The snake is good with that. It's very good with keeping your eyes on the prize. It's very good with being focused and being self-interested. Now, the scythe with the ring and lily, this is a very clear message. This is the classic combination of the divorce, the scythe and ring, very clear. And with the lily, you could be making a deeper change in your life, in your career, in your direction, and maybe in some relationships, possibly some professional relationships and other such relationships. But there's clearly a change. Similar here with the road and scythe, we have a change of direction, and the key clearly encourages you to do this. So this is a time to really engage with your goals and your priorities and to move away from certain people, certain environments, so that you align better with the things that are more important to you. The cross with the moon and ring is actually lovely for a relationship. It ties into the bottom row, so this could be the decision that you're making about this one, but it can also tie up to the top one, right? So it points to this crossroads that you're at, the choices that you're making, what you're going to invest yourself in versus what you're going to let go. And the ship, snake and lily, again here turning away in a different direction. So I feel there's a deeper transformation here for you, Libra, and it ties into this middle row where we saw it with the moon and road. So I think these lines are really working together very well. It's very clear that you're making a choice and making some decisions, Libra, where you're changing directions and moving in a different one. And it does involve some people, especially through the Astro Clock cards, where maybe you're turning them down or you're moving away from them, or maybe you're not really aligned with them and you want to move off and do your own thing. So initially I suggested maybe this person is having their own issues, and it's possible, but in alignment with your portrait, it's more about you and the choices that you're making and the fact that you're moving away from certain people or from certain situations. I also feel, Libra, that these cards affect your life in a bigger way. I don't feel it's limited to a certain area of your life. I think it affects your whole circumstance. It can be limited to any specific area, and in this case, the ideas are the same, but I feel it has a bigger impact on your life, mainly because of the key, the cross, the ship, and the lily. These are sort of broader cards. In terms of specifics, to take a few examples, at work, you could be moving jobs. You could be taking up an offer, turning down others. In terms of personal relationships, you could be falling out with someone and maybe wanting to reset a little bit. And in terms of travel, you could be getting away and going places, which would be quite exciting. But in this case, I feel that it's more for yourself on your own, taking a break, maybe taking some space away from a person. So really nice cards at the end of the day, actually, Libra, despite some some tricky energies here with the mouse and snake. Overall, the cards look good for some transitions, some bigger decisions, and some deeper transformations. Let me know what you make of these ideas. As always, I look forward to your thoughts and feedback. Very best of luck with the month, Libra. Thank you for tuning in. And until next time, take very good care of yourself. Hello, Scorpio. Welcome to your monthly forecast. Here we are in May, and I've got some pretty cards for you for the month of May from your astro clock. We have the Sun, the Heart, and the Garden. The Garden is a card of the outdoors, of your community. It's really good for networking and socializing. And with the lovely Sun and Star, it's pretty clear that you can have some really good times with others. You could even meet people. It could be something romantic, like a date, or maybe getting together with your loved ones, but there's definitely a really positive energy, and it's clearly a good time to go out and get some fresh air and do things that make you feel good. So these are some really nice cards, and of course they can apply in other contexts as well. We're going to set them aside and we're going to draw your portrait to see what else we get about them and what other messages we get for your month. Okay, Scorpio, here is your portrait. We have some very pretty cards in here. We have the Sun like we do in the astro clock cards. We also have the flowers and the star. And these are three very, very bright cards. We do have a couple of challenging ones though. We have the clouds and the mouse. So it sounds like there's a bit of a bump or a bit of an issue that you're able to resolve successfully. Now your cover card is the Child, and the Child is a card of beginnings, and this could be what the challenges are about, where you're maybe moving forward into something and there are some issues to iron out. Now with the mouse and ring here in this first diagonal, there could be a bit of trouble in a relationship. There could be some misunderstandings or some doubts. And clearly this is something you're going to resolve, as we see in the bottom and right hand side column. And also what's possible, Scorpio, is that maybe you're getting tired of your routines. You're stressed out from this ongoing work or stuff that you're taking care of, and maybe that's the reason why it pays to take a break and go out and get some fresh air. Now in the second diagonal, we have the flowers with the mouse and star. And clearly these are cards that overcome any issues very easily. The mouse is a challenge card, but it's not very challenging. It's like a smaller, lesser kind of challenge. It represents bumps and little annoyances here and there. On the other hand, the star is very powerfully positive, and so is the Sun, and the flowers is also really bright. So in comparison with the mouse, they overwhelm it. So clearly here there is a powerful turnaround and definitely healing and resolving any issues. It could also be a message of plenty and abundance, but I feel that with the clouds, the more negative aspect of the mouse is clearly in focus. Now, the Child with the clouds and star, this points to a new beginning, and it is very much aligned with your goals. It is about wish fulfillment. There's just maybe a bit of hesitation, or you're getting your head around it, maybe how to plan it, how to move forward with it. And when we tie the clouds with the middle column with the mouse and stork, it's clear that you are maybe stuck or you're not sure how to manage this. And so you could be feeling a bit anxious, a bit overwhelmed, maybe confused. But the stork is a lovely card because it is a card of action and change, and it definitely gets anything stuck unstuck. So it's lovely here to see that you're going to overcome whatever doubts or issues or this confusion that you could be feeling, and take advantage of this wonderful opportunity and enjoy this fresh start. The letter with the mouse and sun is similar in the sense that we have the sun after the mouse. With the letter, there could be some challenging news or some complicated news or issues here, but the sun really shines its light. What I also feel could be happening here is that the mouse with the letter suggests that there could be fine print or gaps or holes or misinformation or misunderstandings with this news here. So take the time to clarify this, and as soon as you do, you'll see this light sort of, shine throughout, and you'll have that sense of clarity and enlightenment. So again, the sun easily overwhelms the mouse. The mouse is a little bit challenging, but it does call for due diligence, I have to say, Scorpio. And also, you want to deal with things while they are manageable. So don't postpone, don't let them go, don't ignore them, work on them, and you'll see that you quickly resolve them. The flowers with the stork and ring is lovely here for excitement and creativity and being active. It's also great with relationships and with your involvements and engagements. So I really feel that taking this break, connecting with the right people is really going to re-engage you, and it's going to, put you in that space of enthusiasm. And also when we tie this to the top line and middle row, it's clear that this hesitation that you're having about maybe being out there or taking these first steps, you overcome them and you're able to engage with a lot of enthusiasm. Here's a lovely one with the child letter and flowers. This is very good news. And again, I think the whole thing is very lovely. There's just a little bit of a doubt or issues that you need to resolve. And we saw the letter T crossing with the middle row, and both of them have these beautiful positive cards here. So again, it sounds like there's an opportunity, an invitation, something that opens up here, and it's lovely. There are some issues to iron out, but other than that, it sounds like it's on the right track. And the star with the sun and ring, another very beautiful message. Both the star and the sun are very bright cards. In fact, they're two of the brightest cards of the deck, so they deliver positivity in a broad way. And we see it with the ring. Great for relationships, great for this new beginning, great for your commitments and your engagements. And also, these are really great cards for success and achievement. So it's not just that you overcome the issues and you're able to move forward, but you move forward very positively, very brightly, and you're able to achieve goals and do really, really well. So lovely cards, Scorpio, across the board. In terms of context, the cards are really flexible. They can represent any context. It could be work related, something social, something in your personal life, maybe you personally, but in any context, the cards are really bright and suggest that there's really good news, there's opportunity, definitely a good time to be out and enjoy some good times. And any issues that come up in the process or through the snooze and these first steps, you easily overcome them. Again, the mouse being in the center, Scorpio, definitely take this as a message to focus on the details and do your due diligence and take control of things while they are small and manageable, and don't ignore them and don't take shortcuts, and you'll find yourself in a very, very positive situation. I certainly hope this resonates with you, Scorpio. Let me know how it goes, how it played out, and in what context it figured for you. As always, I look forward to your thoughts and feedback. Best of luck with the month. Thank you for tuning in. And until next time, take very good care of yourself. Hello, Sagittarius. Welcome to your monthly forecast. Here we are in May, and I have your May cards from your astro clock for this month. We have the Child, Cross, and Rider. These are interesting cards that point to an important new beginning. We have the Child, which is a card of anything new, and the Cross is about things that are meant to be. Yes, sometimes the Cross is a card of challenge and burdens, but it is also a card of destiny and things that are deeper in your life. And you may need to make some important decisions as well. And the Rider is a card of news and forward movement. It can be a messenger, but I really think at the end of this triplet, it points to this progress and this forward movement, especially after the Child. So clearly, Sagittarius, you're moving into a new beginning. You're pursuing something new, and it could be quite important to you. And also, maybe it's not the easiest of things, but it's definitely a part of your path. So we're going to put these cards aside. We're going to draw your portrait cards and see what else we get about these three and what other messages we get for your month. Okay, Sagittarius, here is your portrait. And as you can see, we've got the cross right at the top of your portrait in alignment with the Astro Clock cards. We have news in the middle, the letter, which aligns with the Rider. And there is a person or people cards here with the man, dog, and also possibly the heart. We have a couple of challenging cards, but this points to an ending, which very much aligns with the new beginning. And then you could be here taking some time to ponder things. So the cross with the letter and heart points to some really good news. Very important news, but also really good news. News that makes you happy. And the star with the letter and coffin can announce an ending. So it seems to me, Sagittarius, that you're happy to move on from something, and you're probably going to announce that you're leaving and moving on. The star is one of the brightest cards of the deck, and it shines its light on the whole portrait and is clearly aligned with your goals and your vision. So it seems to me, Sagittarius, that it's time for you to move on. This is very much the case in the top row where we have the snake and coffin. The snake is challenging, and it would be also with the cross. In fact, the whole line can be a bit challenging. But in the context of your portrait, it sounds like you need to just move on, and maybe you're tired of the situation you're in. And also the snake is a discreet card. So it's a smooth talker, a diplomatic card, a silent card. And so as you move on, you don't need to make a lot of noise about it. No need for a lot of fanfare. And the thing about it also is that it points to loss and disappointment and deception. So maybe you're just moving on from a space that has given you headaches, and now it's time for you to draw the line. And also with the cross, I would say it's important as Sagittarius to just move on. So there is a sense of a burden that comes through with the cross and snake, and that it advises you to just move on and to let it go. So no more hanging on. The man with the letter and tree is some good news. The tree is often very positive. The man represents a person. Who this person is specifically, it's really depending on your specific situation, your own unique circumstances. But the letter and tree usually points to some very good news that grows eventually, at least, into something very bright. At the same time, I think it's important for you, Sagittarius, to take time to consider this interaction, the offer, or whatever is coming through this news. And it certainly aligns with what we see in the right-hand side column, because the coffin and tree are very much about waiting and putting things on hold and taking more time. And so it T-crosses this middle row. So take your time out to consider things. The heart, though, is quite positive, and we're going to see that it ties into this lovely line here. And, but still, it's a good idea to take it easy, take it slow, to make sure that whatever you're doing is really aligning with you. The star with the dog and heart is lovely for a relationship, a friendship, a colleague, a sibling. The dog represents usually someone in your peer group, and with the star and heart, this is a wonderful relationship. So it sounds like there's a very positive connection here. It could be the same one as in the middle line, but if not, still the relationships are supportive in this context. The cross with the man and star, another beautiful message of a supportive connection here. I think with the cross at the top, and especially as your card, you might want to give this person more credit, and maybe you feel that you owe them something, but I don't think so. And if you do, I think you can let this go. But there's definitely something that is meant to be with this person, and a very supportive connection here. The snake with the letter and dog can be a bit tricky, but because it ties into this bottom row, it turns around. So the snake can suggest doubts, challenges, maybe some issues, maybe even deception, but with the bottom row here, it overcomes it. Something else that I feel could be at play for you, Sagittarius, is that maybe when you move on, and maybe you're moving on from this person, I think you'll receive understanding. Things are going to be fine. So there's no need to over worry about you moving on. You know, things are going to fall into place. And like we said, the coffin, tree, and heart points to taking your time. So there's no need to rush into anything. There is good news. There is good progress. You have a new opportunity. But I would say take some time this month, Sagittarius, and don't move forward too aggressively into this new beginning. It sounds like you need to process the opportunity or this new path. You need to process the people who are implicated or involved with this. And you want to take your time to make sure that you align with everything. Now, in terms of context, the cards are flexible. It could be in any context because we have relationships everywhere, at work, at home, in our personal life, other areas. So in terms of the context, it's flexible. It could be for you at work. It could be something else that is flexible. The same idea holds, the idea that you get a new beginning, and that you need to consider an opportunity or an invite or some kind of exchange and communication with this other person. Still, there's broadly a very positive energy and supportive people. I think you're just transitioning as Sagittarius, and you need to anchor yourself. You need to center yourself around this and find your ground through all of this. So let me know what you make of these ideas. I certainly hope you resonate with them positively and that this opportunity proves to be really beneficial for you. Leave me a comment or two, and thank you for tuning in as always. And until next time, take very good care of yourself. Hello Capricorn, welcome to your monthly forecast. Here we are in May, and I have your May cards from your astro clock. These are the moon, the dog, and the bear. So these are some pretty gentle cards. We have the dog in the middle, which represents a friend or a colleague or a sibling or someone in your peer group, and usually it's someone friendly and kind. And we have it with the moon, which probably points to an invitation, and the bear, which can make this more important. It could also represent like a parent-child relationship or a junior-senior relationship, employee-boss, those sorts of relationships, because typically the dog represents the junior and the bear represents the senior. So together there could be some positive vibes here and a good connection overall. And it doesn't have to be that kind of junior-senior relationship. It could just be an important relationship. And here, there could be an invitation. And something else that I feel comes to mind, Capricorn, is that you could get a promotion or an invitation to step up to something. So this could be an appreciation of who you are and what you've done. And maybe this invites you to take on more challenges or more responsibilities. Of course, it depends on your context. So we're going to set these cards aside, and we're going to draw the portrait cards and see what else we get about these three. Okay, Capricorn, look at this really interesting portrait. Despite the two challenging cards here with the whip and coffin, notice that we have the bear and dog figuring right next to each other as well in the cards, and they mirror very much the ones in the astro clock. We have the anchor as your cover card. This is a card of strength and power, and so is the bear actually. And we have the whip in the middle, which is actually quite challenging. Now, because we have these gentle cards in the astro clock, I think this is going to help tone down a little bit the whip. So let's see what's going on here. We have the anchor with the whip and dog. This could be a challenge with someone. You could get into an argument with someone or a disagreement with someone. At the same time, you could come to support someone who has a problem. And this problem is right in the center. It could feel urgent. It could feel like it takes your attention. Similar with the stork, whip, and man. Instead of the dog here, we have the man. They could be the same person or they could be someone different. It's flexible. And the stork and whip definitely brings up a challenge or a problem and something that you need to take up with this person or that you need to deal with. And again, this can mean that there's differences arise between you and this person, and there are maybe arguments and disagreements. So either scenario is possible. The anchor with the book and man can mean that you get to know someone, or this is not someone that you know. And the anchor with the book clearly encourages you to do your due diligence and to get to know this person first. I feel that if there's going to be an argument or differences arise between you and this person, Capricorn, it's likely that you might be surprised at who they are or what they're like. So take your time getting to know them. Now, the tower with the whip and bear can mean that there are problems with these upper kind of people. So it could be problems with management, problems with superior. It can also point to issues from the past. And the thing about the whip and bear is actually quite a confrontational combination. So if we had the snake, for example, I would have suggested to let it go. Same with the fox, same with the road. But the whip and bear are quite confrontational. And so with the tower here and with the whip in the middle, it's definitely a good idea to tackle the challenges head on. And so don't shy out, Capricorn, from dealing with the issues, even confronting people, putting them in place, or tackling the problems with a lot of energy. All of these are called for. Now, something else that comes to my mind is if you work and if you're in a job environment, there could be problems with management. The tower and bear both together and separately represent management. And with the whip, there can be some issues. And I'm thinking because of the coffin, stork and coffin, whip and coffin, I'm thinking maybe changes, layoffs, moving around and things like that. So there can be issues between people at the top, and maybe this doesn't necessarily affect you directly, especially since you have the anchor as your cover card. And the anchor is a card of staying, and it's strong. So that too is possible. The stork with the coffin and dog can mean that someone leaves, and there are changes in this regard. So again, this ties into what we saw earlier. Now, if this is not about the job, you could be leaving, moving, or parting ways with someone. Again, if there are differences or disagreements with this person, you could be taking time out. At the same time, your astro clock cards are nice and gentle. And also we have this supportive line on the right-hand side, which points to a strong connection. So I think, Capricorn, that even if there are going to be issues, if you let it go and let it cool down, I think things are going to be okay eventually. The anchor with the tower and stork can mean changes, and you could be moving on from the past, or you could have a base or some kind of foothold in another location or someplace that you've been to. And the stork can mean that you move there or you go there, or there are events that call on your attention in relation to that space. The book with the whip and coffin is very clearly an ending, and it can be a difficult ending because of the whip. The thing about the book is that because it's a card of secrets and things unknown, when we see it with the whip, it can come across as a bit shocking, or, it catches people off guard, catches you off guard. And the coffin clearly points to an ending. Now, when we look at these cards and how they tie into each other, it clearly points to some issues with a person, or issues that a person is having that leads to a parting, either between you and them or that they have to leave. And the man with the bear and dog is typically a solid relationship. And again, we have that same combination, dog, bear, bear, dog, that connection between someone more senior and someone more junior, or it could be a relationship between someone new and older, or someone more senior, or a manager and people like that, but not necessarily. The thing about the bear is that it also makes things important. So these relationships are important. So overall, Capricorn, it's clear that there are challenges this month, challenges with people, or challenges happening to people, challenges in an environment that you're in. And it causes you or causes others to leave, move, make changes. You could also part ways. And if you have personal issues with these people, you might, take a distance. At the same time, even though the whip is kind of dramatic, I'm not so sure this leads to a permanent ending or things like that, Capricorn. I think there's a strong connection, and there are several cards that have that staying power. The anchor, the tower, and the bear, and also these gentle cards that we see here, and the supportive line in the right-hand side column. So I feel that it's more towards the idea that there are problems that need resolution. And especially with the triplet here, which is a kind and gentle combination because of the moon, and the bear is also a card of support. I feel you might want to offer support to these people who are having issues or problems, and try to help them out. If it's not that, then there can be some differences that arise, but still I feel that you could come to terms with the other person and sort of be on the same page to some extent. Still around you, there could be people leaving, moving. There could be challenges that affects others. So it feels a bit like a turbulent month where there's a shakeup. And I think it's very important for you to find yourself in this situation. I think we have very good reason to feel that you're staying and you stand strong because of the anchor, tower, and bear, and also your astro clock cards. In terms of context, Capricorn, the cards are flexible. They could be in relation to work, where there are problems at work. In this context, we could definitely look at layoffs, shakeups, people moving around, and things like that. Issues with management, issues with employees. It's kind of messy if you think of it in a job context. In a personal context, there could be issues with people, with your friends, your family, or your loved ones, and similarly in any other situation. So let me know what you make of these ideas, Capricorn. Come back to let me know how it went and what were the issues and challenges that you had to face. As always, I look forward to your thoughts and feedback. Very best of luck with the month. Thank you as always for tuning in. And until next time, take very good care of yourself. Hi Aquarius, welcome to your monthly forecast. Here we are in May, and I have your May cards from your astro clock. These are the lily, the flowers, and the moon, and they are lovely cards. The flowers is especially bright, and it's a card of spring and happiness. It's all around joy and creativity. The lily is often a card of career, your life path, and also your sense of lifestyle. It's also a good card for health and wisdom. And the moon is a gentle card, also good for creativity like the flowers, and it often suggests an offer or an invitation. So this could be a great time for creativity. Maybe you're expanding your passions or your career or the things that you do into more creative outlets. And you could also get an invitation or even an offer that makes you happy. Also, it's a good time to celebrate, to accept invites from others, maybe also to invite others. So it's a lovely, gentle time. It's kind of expansive, but also in a quieter kind of way. So these are lovely cards for creativity, and I certainly hope you take advantage of this. We're going to set these cards aside and we're going to draw on them a portrait. We'll see what else we get about them and what other messages we get for your month. Okay, Aquarius, here is your portrait. Notice that we have both the lily and moon in your cards, which align closely with the cards in your astro clock. And we also have this interesting line here with the scythe, mountain, and coffin. I know it looks a bit grim, but actually it could be quite freeing. At the cover, we have the bear. This is a card of strength and power. It's lovely to see it on your cover card. It sounds like you need to take some action, Aquarius, and get some things done, and especially bring things to a close. So when we have the bear with the moon and coffin, it's about bringing a phase to a close. We have the moon and coffin. This often represents the end of a phase. And with the bear at the beginning, which is a card of strength and energy, it's about you bringing this phase to a close. It's also possible that you get an invitation or an offer that you're probably going to turn down. And I think this is well mirrored by the second diagonal with the woman, moon, and scythe. So the woman and moon can offer you an invitation or suggest something, but the scythe can be it's a bit sharp against the moon, and especially because of the coffin, it sounds like you might turn it down or you might move on to something else. I feel that you don't really have time for this. This is going to come through with the columns here. The bear with the lily and scythe, you could be making changes to your lifestyle, your career. You could also be changing directions. And that's because the lily is often a card of direction, a card of life path. And it's also about your career in general and beyond the job. So it's not necessarily about work. It's about what you are dedicated to in life. And the bear and lily can be quite significant. And so with the scythe, it can be a major change for you. In another sense, we can read the bear and lily sometimes as legal affairs. With the scythe here, there could be a break or a separation, or maybe something ends. You could also call it off and do things like that. Now, the stork with the moon and mountain can mean that you're going abroad, going somewhere else, or maybe farther from where you are. The moon is often about an invitation, certainly with the stork, and the mountain can represent that place abroad. So it could be exciting for going places, and this works out well with the astro clock cards. At the same time, we have the bottom row with the woman, ship, and coffin, which is the end of a journey, or maybe it's postponing a trip. Now, I feel it's more about ending things and moving on from them because you want to dedicate yourself to more interesting things. So because of the powerful triplet and because of this ending phase and the changes here, and this one, I feel that you are moving on from certain things and you just want to spend more time on your priorities. So like we saw in the second diagonal, that you get an offer from someone to do something or to collaborate or whatever. You turn it down. It sounds like, you're kind of sharp to say no. We have something similar in the bottom line with the ship and coffin, which is a journey that doesn't really go anywhere, or it's the end of a journey. So there is a moving on and there is a change. Now, the bear with the stork and woman is about activity with this person. It doesn't have to be the same person, but it can be. It can mean that you had been busy with her and maybe that's what you're ending. And it can also mean that you're busy with other people. That's why you're postponing or canceling other projects. The lily with the moon and ship is quite exciting. This is very much about pursuing your goals and your ambitions. And a bit like what we saw with the astro clock cards, there is a sense of expansion. The ship is really good at expanding. It goes beyond your horizon, beyond your current limitations or borders, and it has that exploration kind of feel. So really nice cards. And this line here, very interesting. We have the scythe, mountain, and then the coffin. So I often take the scythe and mountain to suggest breaking through obstacles. And then we have the Coffin, which is a card of endings. So taking this all together, I feel, Aquarius, here that you need to overcome an obstacle and bring things to a close. So it's like you have a bit of an uphill struggle right now, something that you need to confront or deal with and wrap up. And you want to spend your energy on this until it's done so that you can move on and focus on your creativity, your passions, and other things. And also, if it is about travel, like if we tie the line here, because both the stork and mountain can be about travel along with the ship, you could cancel plans. And in fact, I would say it's suggested. So we have a lot of lines that point to this idea of canceling, saying no, postponing. We saw this through the first diagonal, second diagonal, top row, bottom row, and now we're seeing it in the right-hand side column. So with all of these cards, I would suggest, Aquarius, that you cancel certain plans, you make certain changes. As long as you're focusing on your priority, you'll know what to do. But I think it's important to focus on your creativity and your passions and to spend more time in like a happier space, doing happier things. And if some people or some activities have been draining you, I think it's a good time to make a change. There could also be deeper changes. You know, it's not necessarily like an everyday thing. It could go deeper. It depends on your specific and unique circumstances. Now, in terms of context, the cards are also flexible. It can point to a personal relationship where you sort of move away from certain people or take more time out for yourself and focus on other things. It could be in relation to work where you turn down projects or postpone certain projects, turn down offers and things like that. And in terms of money, the cards are not really about money, but in terms of money, it's a good idea to postpone major purchases. So I think it's better to refocus a little bit and to rethink things. And also, I want you to anchor yourself in a space of happiness and joy and creativity more than anything else. So let me know what you make of these ideas. I always look forward to your comments, Aquarius, so leave me a couple. And best of luck with this. I certainly hope you are able to manage this and really bring out this creativity that's waiting to come out. Let me know how it goes. So thank you for tuning in. Very best of luck with the month again. And until next time, take very good care of yourself. Hello Pisces, welcome to your monthly forecast. Here we are in May and we have your May cards. We've got the Stork, Bear, and Clover from your Astro Clock. These are really exciting because of the Clover, but also because of the Stork and Bear, even though they're neutral. So the Clover is one of the brightest cards of the deck. It's a lucky card. And the Stork is about change and activity and action. And the Bear is about strength and power. And it makes everything big and important. So it looks like you're in for some empowering changes, a powerful moment here. And you could get a lucky break, or it could be a major change and a major event for you. The thing about the Clover is that it's a little bit unpredictable. It is a card of luck, but it's also a card of chance. So it often, things often turn out a little bit differently from what we expect. So it's good to keep an open mind when the Clover shows up. And we're going to put these cards aside. We're going to see what else we get about these three and what other messages we get for your month. Okay, Pisces, here is your portrait, and we have the Bear and Stork both figuring in the cards, and we also have a couple of very lovely cards, the Flowers and Star. So these mirror the Astro Clock cards very well. But we also have a couple of challenging cards. We have the Whip and the Mouse. So let's see what's going on here. In the center, we have the Book, which is often a card of the unknown, and the Road is often a card of the path ahead, or sometimes choices and change. So looking at this first diagonal here, we have the Road, Book, and Anchor. This could mean that you're in for a journey that you don't know much about, and the anchor can mean a very positive conclusion. Usually it's positive. The thing about the anchor is that it brings certainty. So with the Book and Anchor, it's a good idea to have a good understanding of what you're heading into, and if you don't have all the answers, and you can do as much research as you can, and you'll find that you have more confidence. So these are great cards really to align you with your path and to have do some due diligence, do some research in order to be more confident with where you're moving into. The flowers with the book into the mouse, there can be some issues here. Usually the book and mouse point to misinformation or lack of information, or there are some gaps here. And the flowers is very good for creativity, especially with the book. But in the context of this line, it's a good idea that you try to prepare upfront against surprises, against gaps, and to do as much research as you can. I do think that you're in for a bit of a surprise. I think there could be a change that takes you off guard a little bit, Pisces, but you let me know what ends up happening. Now, the road with the book and mouse can mean that you face some challenges in your path, and they could be significant ones. The thing about the bear is that it makes everything big, and the warning of the mouse is to manage things while they are small and manageable so that they don't grow out of proportion. And then we have the bear. So this points to something significant. So I would say, Pisces, as much as you can, focus on the details, try to plan, try to get information as much as possible so you can prevent these things from happening. At the same time, you might be in for a big trip and a big change or a big venture, which we saw in your Astro Clock cards. And this is maybe not easy. Maybe there are challenges with this big path, which is quite likely. And remember, we said we have the clover, which can be a card of chance, so there can be things that happen that you don't necessarily anticipate. Now, the whip in book points to a challenging kind of message. It can be a surprise or a shock, but the thing about the star is that it's a lovely card of healing and wish fulfillment. So you could get some shocking news that turns out to be really good. I think it catches you off guard and it creates changes in ways that you might have not necessarily anticipated. The flowers with the stork and anchor is very good for a positive conclusion. It's very good for achieving your goals, and there is definitely a positive change that you're taking up here. I would also say, Pisces, go for your goals, go for your creativity, go after the things you want. You could find yourself in a very positive and maybe even a more stable situation. Now, the road with the whip and flowers is similar to other lines we've seen. It's clear that you're in for a bumpy path. We've seen this twice already, but it's really nice to see the flowers after the whip because it helps overcome it. But it's very nice to see the flowers after the whip because it helps you overcome it. So despite the challenges, you're going to find solutions and you're going to overcome them. The bear, book, and stork is very much about a revelation. This sounds like news, good news, and I think also news that gives you the green light. So the stork and bear and clover here, the stork in the bottom line. And it ties into the top row, so I think this could have been a bit of a struggle or a mystery, or there could have been some complications around this situation, but you get the green light, you get the revelation, and you're able to move forward. So these are great cards to help you achieve your goals. The mouse with the star and anchor is also lovely. A bit like the earlier right-hand side column, we have the beautiful star and anchor after the mouse, which clearly resolves the issues of the mouse. And the anchor is a solid card. It brings you to a solid conclusion. And the star is about wish fulfillment and healing, so it delivers a lot of good things for you. So there's a similar parallel where you have a bit of a bumpy path. There are issues, there are challenges, but you resolve them and you find yourself in a really good space, out of which you probably take off to pursue some objectives and pursue your creativity. So these are really nice cards. Yes, there are a few challenges, Pisces, but they turn around for the better and you find yourself in a really good space. And you also have some really good news and some really exciting changes ahead for you. Now, in terms of context, the cards are flexible. This could be in any context. Maybe you're traveling and it's a bit bumpy. Maybe you're in for a change at work or in your lifestyle or at home or in some other area of your life. And you go through these bumps, but then you find a solution and you overcome them and you land in a really good space. And I also think there's a potential for growth because often the stork and bear can point to a promotion, an improvement, an enhancement of sorts. So this can feel really good. And this could be at work, with money, at home, in any situation. What I'm not really seeing here, Pisces, is the social front. We're not really seeing people cards, connection cards, emotional cards. We're not seeing any of that. I don't think it's focused on relationships. I think it's more about you, your path, the changes, the bumps that you're going to go through, and the empowerment that comes as a result of overcoming these. So let me know what you make of these ideas. As always, I look forward to your thoughts and feedback. Very best of luck with the month. Thank you as always for tuning in. And until next time, take very good care of yourself.